We're hosting a live first date that was scheduled through First Rounds and Me a mere few days ago.
People are just so tired of regular dating app conversations that go on endlessly for a week, 2 weeks. This has really like forced us to meet in person, which is amazing.
Be a little spontaneous, be a little wild.
Now you're peacocking, Joel. I love it. You're getting comfortable. She's into your job. This is great.
If it quacks like a duck, then it is a duck. And I think it's
sound like my ideal man already. This has been interesting so far. I'm not a normal person either.
None of us are. I think especially because there's cameras and microphones, but I think first dates have nerves in general.
We cannot thank you enough for being brave enough and for being spontaneous enough and adventurous enough to join us here for this very first live first date.
Okay.
Super easy, right?
That was...
In association with First Rounds on Me, the dating app focused on taking connections from URL to IRL, we're Hannah and Joe from Manila, and welcome back to the First Rounds on Me podcast. Babe, who do we have on the show today?
Well, my darling, as you know, our app is based on genuine, authentic connections, fostered by a mentality that the best first dates happen in person. And we've had so many different walks of life join us on the couch over the years. We've even had our very own love story, joined by Daniela, who met on the app and were married months later. But today, we have a very first for our podcast. We're hosting a live first date between Talia and Joel that was scheduled through First Rounds and Me a mere few days ago. When they play the roles of first date hosts, guiding our guests through their initial meeting, will sparks fly and ignite a love at first sight connection, or will they discover a strong instant friendship instead? The possibilities are endless, and we're eager to uncover the magic of their initial meeting. Talia and Joel, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us, guys.
This is very exciting.
It's incredibly exciting. There's so many fun things that we want to do with you today. But I think, Joe, do you want to start off with how you and Talia actually met and connected?
Yeah, so I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like it was patched together from our team. But
Okay.
you had done a podcast with Alana Dunn.
I did.
And I think that on that podcast, you had told her that your favorite dating app was First Rounds on Me.
I did. I gave you a shout out.
So question, was that set up or was that organic?
No, that was organic. The whole thing. The way her podcast is set up is I have no clue what she's going to ask me beforehand. I'm literally just, it's like I'm talking to a friend. And you guys, I have a YouTube channel. I've shouted you out so many times because you are really the dating app that I use here in New York City. And so I don't know, to work with you guys and to be here is exciting.
That's awesome. So Alana is a friend of the show. One of her friends, Danny, works with us. So it's in the family, and they brought it to my attention. And I was like, I wonder if that's real or not. And for you to verify that, that's awesome.
It
and
is.
then from there, I think you separately reached out to me.
I did, yeah.
And then when that happened, I was like, all right, let's see what Talia's all about. So I went to your YouTube page, as I would.
Yes.
And I never really do that much research.
Right.
But I saw the first video and I was like, let's take a look at this first video. And it was you doing a tutorial on one of your First Rounds on Me dates.
Yes.
And for someone who has a really small attention span, I think it was 15 minutes long.
Yeah, the perfect.
I was hooked.
Right?
And I don't know if I was hooked because it was our app or because it was just so good, but it was so good.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Confident,
And
exactly.
15 minutes in, I started sending it to Hannah, to our VP of marketing. I was like, this is awesome. We need to work with Talia.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, congratulations to being a good content creator.
Well, thank you. But I mean, your app makes dating so much easier for me. So I think we can talk about that later on. But
of which we're so excited.
What was your first impression when you guys came across the concept of First Rounds on Me and you actually got to understand how it worked?
I mean, I personally think it's been amazing for me, right? If I were shouting you out.
Why specifically?
Because I've had so many situations where men have literally, it's been back and forth for a week, 2 weeks, and I'm fed up of that. And also the fact that on regular dating apps, you get a lot of matches and it becomes overwhelming, at least for me. Like sometimes I've gotten like 75 matches that come in a day and I'm like, okay, who do I talk to? And then if they don't reply right away, I'm like, who are you? I don't remember who you are. I don't remember our conversation. And then I kind of freeze up and I'm like, okay, then I get nowhere. This really forces me to like, okay, I'm putting myself out there. And that's something that I preach on my channel. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. And I think that is what this app does very well.
I agree. How about you, Joe?
I feel the same way she does. I think regular dating apps are really frustrating. It's so boring. It sucks the soul out of you. It feels like you're speaking to a robot. It's just endless conversation and it goes nowhere and you forget who you're speaking to and all of that. And I think the idea of First Rounds on Me, when I first saw it, I think I found it through an ad on Instagram. And I really found the concept of it really fascinating. I'm not sure how well it works in practice, but in theory, I love it. I've shown it to quite a few friends. It's something fresh where there's so many dating apps that have slightly different features. This is like a whole new, different concept that doesn't copy any of the other apps.
So with the two of you, who
Yes.
who initiated the date?
I did,
She-
which is so out of character for me because my whole life I've been someone who is like, I'll let the man come to me. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, you know what, screw that. I'm just going to do whatever I want in dating. And that's how things are going to work out for me. And we're here now. So I guess that's a good sign, right?
How did that make you feel, Joel? Did you enjoy like the fact that Talia was the one that kind of
Yeah,
said-
I don't mind that at all. I'm fine with either way as long as people communicate and want to go out. Doesn't matter who initiates. It's just
Were you taken aback?
I
No?
don't think so. No.
Okay.
I've had that happen before,
Okay.
but I think it's just I think the app in general attracts people that are more adventurous and more like not the typical people who are more scared of trying new things. It attracts adventurous people, and that's happened before for me on the app. I think quite a few times where girls have asked me out.
There we go.
we really like to think that there's like equal opportunity there. Like we always talk about the fact that there's this beautiful chivalrous element to it. If you know you really are of that more traditional, either a man or a woman,
Right.
or there is that incredibly modern version of it where if you're a woman, like we actually met on Hinge, and
Okay.
I liked him.
Right.
I was always very forward. I was
You
just
took
like,
the lead,
you're
yeah.
attractive, let's go on a date type
Right.
of situation. But I think it's so beautiful that it's equal opportunity for people to be able to have those experiences.
Right.
And also, to your point, be a little spontaneous, be a little wild in a good
It's
way.
built for
Exactly.
New Yorkers.
It is built
Yes.
for
Yeah.
No, exactly.
That's where
Dating
the-
here is wild.
This is where the concept originated.
Right. Because you used to live here. And
Yes.
you used to live here too?
I lived here, years and years ago, but Joe's originally from New York. I'm from
Right.
Australia, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
And then we met in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So, one of the other features is the 24-hour chat box.
Right.
And the reason we do that is to make the first date as organic as possible. So, I'm sure on other apps, you've kind of had a variety of questions you've asked other
It
potential.
goes on forever,
matches.
and there's no clear ending
So-
or beginning to it. It's just
Right.
like
So, I want to use some of those organic questions that you normally would ask somebody through the phone to ask each other right now.
okay.
And it could be super easy, like where are you from, what do you do, just so not only you can get a sense of who each other are, but also that Hen and I could kind of hear who you guys are, because we're on a double date right now,
Okay.
Go.
So, how have you ended up in New York City?
Ooh, that's a very good question.
It is.
So I split my time between Montreal, Canada, and New York. Yes, I do speak French fluently.
So sexy.
That's what everyone asks me that. So Montreal, and some people don't even know what Montreal is, which is strange too. But anyways, so I grew up coming here 2-3 times a year, and then I met someone here on a dating app last year. I spent a lot of time here. I was living here, and then I was like, why not spend even more time here? No, but honestly, New York City is the best city in the world. I've traveled a lot. And I mean, that's another question too. That is something that's really important for me when finding somebody, is whether or not they've traveled and actually left the country. But New York City is the best city in the world.
Yeah, I do love traveling. I
Okay.
live for traveling. I take every 6 months off. Every 5 months, I take off and I travel for a month.
Wait, okay, then what do you do for a living that allows this?
I am a sound engineer and lighting director that's freelance for concerts, and I get booked for particular shows, and I just take a month that I don't take any bookings.
So you're a boss, essentially.
Yes, and
With
also
a capital B.
with a capital B, and also
Okay.
run my own production company.
Okay, so you do everything, essentially.
Yes.
Okay, that's really cool. So what kind of, like, do you do concerts? Do you do events? Like, who have you worked for?
I have worked for a lot of major artists, A-list artists, in more of the private settings, in like celebrities' houses. A lot of like very wealthy people throw private parties with celebrities, and
Wow,
that's-
okay.
and some corporate events, and everything where anyone wants to pay me, I'll be there.
So wait, have you signed NDAs, or can you speak about this?
I've signed NDA only for one party,
Okay.
and I'm allowed to say I've been there, not what happened at the party.
Okay.
I've worked with artists like Drake, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Little Baby, Neo, Usher.
Oh my
and some other
god.
artists.
Drake is like the Canadian dream.
He may be.
I have to say, Joel, chiming in here as your
Yes,
wingman.
of course.
Picking up on the cues, I really like how you didn't come out of the gate with the celebrity names. You waited for Talia to ask because
Mhm.
I feel like that was a big confidence boost, at least as an outsider flying the wall.
Yeah.
You kind of played it cool. You're like, I've done some
Yeah.
rich people, some celebrities. That was nice. I like that.
I agree.
That's a really cool job too, especially like being in New York. You tend to date a lot of like, at least for me, it's always like the finance men or the marketing guys, and so you have a very like
Not the typical
non-traditional,
boy job.
exactly, which is really cool though, and that's what makes this interesting, and for me like more fun in a sense, because I'll go on other dates and it's like, oh, okay, you work for hedge fund, you work for like, it's like, okay, whatever, but this. Okay, I have so many questions though. And I feel like you guys probably do too.
Ask him away.
We're
This is your
watching
date.
and all, yeah.
No, but it's a cool job.
Oh, it's a very cool job.
Yeah. Okay, so what?
Now you're
one thing
peacocking,
about your
Joel. I
job?
love it. You're getting comfortable. She's into your job. This is great.
I mean, look, it is attractive when someone's a go-getter.
I
There's
think
so many
so, yeah.
people that are just complacent in life, and I think that that's like the worst thing ever.
Well, I moved here, and that's a big thing. You also do that. You also go better. You're a businesswoman yourself,
I am
which I've briefly heard before.
right.
And what is it exactly that you do?
Well, I have 2 jobs. I run 2 businesses. So my boring day job is I resell designer clothing. I've been doing this for years. And my more interesting job is I have a YouTube channel called Talia Dates NYC, where I talk about dating tips and dating, like everything dating related, essentially. And it's all very unfiltered because that's who I am. And people tend to like it, I guess. I don't know. Now it's my time to boast, right?
So, I think I'll be a subscriber.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Do we want this?
Am I blocked?
Should have instantaneous block.
So, Joel, how do you feel about not being part of the content, but knowing that Talia talks about her dates and
That's a good question.
you're part of the
I'm part
talent,
of
I guess.
the content, yeah. I don't mind that. I think a story is, everyone has stories, and sometimes it's told to one person. So as long as it's not too personal and the boundaries is common sense, then it's okay. Which I think.
Fair.
It's
That's
very
very
fair.
fair.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
That.
So what would you say, talking about stories, what would you say is an interesting part of your life or a story that needs to be told?
Oh, well, there's many. But I think a story that I think a lot of people find interesting is my upbringing. I grew up in a very religious Jewish Orthodox family. I'm one of 11.
Wow.
That's a lot of kids, yeah.
And I live now quite a different lifestyle, which is, I don't know, some people find that quite fascinating, and I would say that.
Okay.
That is. Wait, hold up. Stepping in here, I find that very fascinating. That's
Yeah.
I mean,
I have a lot of questions.
I
I
have
don't
a
know
lot of
how
questions.
appropriate they are because I only know through TV about the ultra orthodox
The history.
religious
As do most people.
community.
Yeah.
So I have a question, and you could say, "Listen, I'm not answering that question. Did you have to somewhat escape this?"
Somewhat. I mean, there's a lot of. They say if it quacks like a duck, then it is a duck, and I think it quacks like a cult, then it is a cult. But escape, yes and no. I mean, there was a lot of there was a point where I changed my way of life, and then I was stuck in middle of nowhere where I didn't quite know how to integrate into the regular world, and I wasn't quite accepted into my community. So I was like in an island in the ocean where I kind of had to swim to safety.
Wait, what?
I get it.
yeah, no, 100%.
100% get it. That's
That
fascinating.
is incredibly fascinating. If it wax like a cult, it is a cult. That made me laugh so much. But that must have been like incredibly formative. Like what an interesting experience. How old were you when you left?
I would say around 16-ish. That's
Wow.
when I started really questioning life as it is. And then I think that's what I bring my sense of adventure into my daily life. I question everything and don't like living the status quo and just, I don't know, live differently.
I love
Sound like
it.
my ideal man. Just already.
So now, how would your family feel if you potentially brought Talia home?
Well, Talia is Jewish.
Non-practicing Jew.
Non-practicing
So like
Jew.
I'm Jewish. I like to tell
Like
people.
the ish is
Yeah.
the big part.
So tell us how that. Yeah, how does
Yeah.
that go in the family dynamic?
I think in the family, if I brought someone that was not Jewish, it would be a big no-no. If someone who is not Jewish, and if my parents, my mom keeps on telling me, oh, you have to bring home somebody that's religious, but I would, me personally, I don't care. It's more of my parents' thing and the whole, not get into a whole argument about.
You want to appease them, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah, which I get.
But if it happens, it happens.
Okay, love that.
I like that.
That's okay. See, this is why dating in New York City is so much fun, because there's no other city in the world. I've dated in Montreal, I've dated in Toronto, that you find like these interesting stories. You really don't, you know?
Oh, heck yeah.
There's a lot of weird and wonderful in New York City.
Weird and wonderful is the best way to put it. All right.
Yeah,
You guys were
literally.
just talking about travel, and I want to know
Yeah.
if you could visit any place in the world right now, where would it be and why?
Japan.
Ooh,
I think
okay.
it just has. I'm fascinated with Asia in general, but Japan sounds incredible.
I've been. It's
So have
remarkable.
I. It's very cool.
And ironically, it's my second favorite country. I visited behind Israel.
behind Australia.
No way. Yeah, hello.
Australia makes the top 5.
How about you, Talia?
Oh my gosh, the more weird, the better. So India is my favorite country in the world. I spent a month there. But if I could visit any other place, maybe Kazakhstan,
Ooh.
Mongolia, really odd places.
Have you been to any of those places, Joel?
I have been to India. I haven't been to any of the stands. And there's like 5.
No stands yet.
So wait, is that a
Sometimes-
second date?
Yes, we go to Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, or all the those countries over there.
If
Okay, so
you
tomorrow?
Yes.
if you actually make that happen, we will pay for your trip. Mark my words.
Second date? Love it.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I stay up at night and I'm like, Kazakhstan, what's that like? Are there buildings in Kazakhstan? Are there people? And I'll Google
Right.
just what does Kazakhstan look like? And
Right.
It's just fascinating.
So Joe, you're coming with us then.
I guess I don't know.
We'll accompany you. That's totally fine. I want to know how your respective best friends would describe you in 3 words.
Oh gosh, who wants to start?
I don't mind going first, but you
You want me to
okay.
go ahead.
I would say adventurous, quirky, and fun.
They're great words to be described
Yeah.
by.
Okay. Adventurous, unfiltered, and loyal.
Okay.
Loyalty is a big thing for me. So I'm not a very big like astrology person, but I'm a very proud Leo, and we're loyal.
Are you a Leo?
Sagittarius. No, I'm
you're
Sagittarius.
But you're so loyal. I
Bro,
don't
we're
know.
married. What are you
All I
talking
know
about?
is my own sign. I'm a Taurus. That's all I know. I don't know.
You should
any
know
of the signs.
Taurus and Sagittarius because your wife is.
But you are very
Sagittarius.
loyal.
I am incredibly loyal.
Yeah.
To Mark.
We're fire signs.
Yeah,
both of us.
that's. I think that's where it comes
Yeah.
from. But I feel like unfiltered and quirky are somewhat synonymous. So you've kind of got 2 in common already. Would you call yourself loyal?
Yes.
See, there you go. 3 in common.
All right.
Yeah.
So speaking of those 3 keywords, who would be the person that you'd want to walk in right now to hype you up for those 3 words?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
Did not see that coming.
I thought it was gonna be a friend or a family member, but okay. Talia, that's a big,
I know. I
big
don't.
answer to follow.
I clearly don't have an answer right now. I'm like stuck. I don't know. I don't know. It would have to be some sort of a CEO. I have mad respect. Like celebrities, don't really care for. They're just regular people.
But any friend or family member? Or you want it to be?
I mean, I'm very close to my family, so sure. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe like some sort of a cool CEO who runs like some, billion-dollar company.
I'm a cool CEO. I'm not part of a
You
billion-dollar
are.
company, but I could come speak up for your 3 words.
Okay. Well, we're going to Kazakhstan
That's
together
it.
now.
So there you go. You can learn so much from each other
Yeah.
on a short trip. All right. I want to know. I've got a couple more icebreaker questions here because I just think
I'm
that-
down. Yeah.
If you could instantly become an expert in anything, what would it be?
Oh my! I feel like you're better at answering this question. It's just a feeling.
I have 2 answers to that.
Okay.
Greedy, but okay.
I think the most important skill in life is people skills. I'd probably say that, but if it wasn't that, it would probably be like physics or engineering. I love science and all types of stuff, how it works.
I love that answer.
Nice.
Oh my god. Ooh. I mean, sciences are like not my thing whatsoever. It's something I don't understand. Technology actually would be nice. I barely know how to operate a camera or like anything like a computer. Like I'm a loyal Apple user because it's so simple.
Yes.
Anything else I don't really understand.
They're really
maybe
simple.
technology would be
I like it. I
a
love
cool
it.
skill to,
All right, we're going to kind of get into some, like, unless there is something that you want to touch on, Darling, before we get into some, like,
No.
more games and icebreakers, because I
You're
think
the
these are really
boss.
fun. I am the boss, thank you.
That's a good answer, Joe. She is the boss.
When you're married, you really
have
know what
to.
say.
You
He
have
knows,
to.
He knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to play a couple of different games and answer a couple of different questions. All right, you
Okay.
ready?
I'm ready.
2 truths and a lie. So I want
Okay.
you individually to say 2 truths and a lie, and I want to see if the other person can figure out which one is the lie.
Oh gosh.
Am I up?
Go right ahead.
I have driven when I was 16 from London to Russia without a license.
Okay.
I have a scuba diving license. And I have been to 35 countries.
The 35 countries is a lie.
That's correct.
Am I right? Oh my god.
They know each other so well
I'm
already.
feeling some synergy here.
Me too. All right, Talia.
How many
you're up.
countries though?
I think last I counted is 27.
Okay. And
Lucky
then
number
Kazakhstan's
27.
28.
Yeah, of course.
Well, good
Wow.
For you.
You can add that to your list too, right?
Well, soon it's going to be
Yeah.
28 with Kazakhstan.
But wait, before Talia goes, so you drove from London to Russia at 16 with no license?
Yes.
But wait, logistically,
But how?
Logistically, how that works is, well, in Europe, there's no borders except the
Right.
Russian border, which you could bribe. You just put in $100 in the passport. And then to get out of England, there's kind of a border, but they don't check your driving license, they just check your passport. And you could buy a car without a license. And in England, used cars are very cheap because it's only can stay in England because it's on the wrong side, the driver
Right.
thing. And we got stopped a few times by police, but thankfully it was in Eastern Europe where we could just give them $20 and be on our way. Fun trip. And then I hitchhiked back from Russia to Budapest.
What?
Fun trip.
okay.
All right, we'll move into the next one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Desert island scenario. If you were stranded on a desert island, what are 3 things you would want with you and why?
Ooh.
Mm.
You want me to start?
Yes.
Okay. My dog. Is that a good answer?
That's a great answer.
Is-
And I would
that's
say the
what-
same.
I would say the exact same thing.
Yeah, I'm like very obsessed with him, and we have like a cool story too. So, my passport, even though it would be useless at that point, right? But it's still something that like is of importance to me as a
All right,
world
time out.
traveler.
So right now you're on a desert island.
Yeah.
You have your dog and your passport. This third thing better be great because you can't really do much.
Water.
Unlimited supply?
Well, is that cheating though?
No, I mean,
Because
listen,
I can't say like
there's
water
no
and
wrong
food,
answer.
right? Because I mean that would be easy.
There's no wrong answer, but just to let you know for the rest of
You know what?
however long you're on this
I
island.
changed my mind. So obviously you can't say water or food. I want a water filter so I can use the ocean water and filter it.
That's
I've
Okay.
gone trekking in Nepal. If you have like that little straw that filters the water, you're okay.
You're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not cheating. I can't say, you know.
You're not cheating, don't worry.
Yeah.
Joel?
I would say a good friend and
Okay.
Basically a dog.
Yes.
some way to play music and
Okay.
have a music library with me. And the last thing would be, I don't know.
If you have alcohol, that's one hell of a party.
Yes, alcohol will definitely help. I
friend
don't know.
music?
I don't know how good alcohol would be.
Wait, can I
though.
change my answer then?
All right, next one. I want to know, actually, I want you to describe your ideal first date in detail. Like, what would it involve and why is it your perfect choice? Or we could do it in the way of First Rounds and me saying drink, time, and place.
And I assume it wouldn't be with a lot of cameras around you and 2 people
Yeah,
who
no.
you don't know observing.
Well, it's a double date, which is
Exactly.
nice.
And now we're travel partners.
Now we're travel
partners. Better get used to us.
I would say perfect. If we don't place, time, and date, I really like dinner where I feel like I'm fairly relaxed when I'm eating. When I'm like, I would say time more towards the evening. I'm a night owl. And a place would be some place that has a nice ambience. And I like trying new places, so it could stimulate me twice where I'm meeting a new person and trying new food. It's just a good recipe for a fun night.
Love that. What's on
There
your
you
short
go.
list of next places to try?
Oh, I have a long list I could share it with you.
What's
We
what's
want to
the-
know.
What's the top spot?
The top spot? I can't remember the names, but maybe the Four Horsemen or there's so many. I have like a list of like 40 restaurants that I need to just try.
Okay.
Okay. So wait, are you a Brooklyn person?
I am a Brooklyn person.
So you need to bring me to Brooklyn because I don't know it at all. I don't know the food scene there, the
know
bar
so many
scene.
good restaurants out there.
Okay. Interesting.
Talia, drink
Oh
time
my
and
gosh.
place.
Well, I'm obviously like my dates for me, if someone's like, let's go mini putting, I'm like, nah, I'm really good. Like, I don't like activity dates. I really like despise that. So I'm like more of like, if you bring me for a drink or a nice dinner, I'm set, you know? So I don't know, maybe like a nice hotel bar. I'm really about that.
Ace Hotel.
I've stayed there actually, believe it or
Ace
not.
Hotel
It's
bar.
cool. I've been to like the Beekman before, really nice. 11 Howard right here, really cool. So a nice hotel bar. There's like a vibe to a hotel, you know?
Oh, heck yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys. So you both kind of said dinner. So
Mhm.
as you know, first rounds on me, we steer more to the casual drinks.
Yeah.
How do you actually feel about getting dinner with somebody on a first date, logistically and like seeing it play out?
Right, interesting.
Depends if you know them at all, or if it's like, I think a lot of people, especially from dating, are scared of being trapped for like an hour and a half. Like it's like you can't escape after like the first meal. Like
Right.
if you're having a drink, you can escape after the first drink, which is like 20 minutes in. You know, it's like, what do you
Right.
think?
I mean, I actually like dinner. Like I'm someone who could talk to anybody. I could talk to a wall and make it interesting. It sounds bad, but whatever.
Joe, it's
So
100%.
no, so like I like dinner on a first date. You know,
So-
like I said, no activities for me. It's dinner or drinks.
So say within the first 5 minutes, you
Right.
know, okay, I'm not attracted to this person. There's no
Right.
vibe, but you're like, okay, I'm going to power through for the next hour and a half and make this interesting.
Of course. I'm not
Okay.
going to leave. I'm not going to escape. Sorry, I need to go to the washroom and leave through the window.
Hannah's done that.
I've done that before.
Really?
Yeah.
And did you feel any remorse or no?
It was just he was an absolute wanker. Like he literally
that's
was just like
different.
incredibly rude to not
Yeah.
only myself, but like the people who were at the restaurant. He was literally on
That's
his
disgusting.
phone.
He was on his
He
phone.
ordered for me, which like, unless we're
Yeah.
married, don't fucking order for me. I know I'm a
Right.
big girl. I can order myself.
Right.
And then I just was like, oh, do you know where the bathroom is? Head in his phone. He was like, oh, it's somewhere over there. And I just picked up my bag and I walked out.
Honestly, good on you though. That's
he
different.
texted me. He was like,
though.
where are you? And I was like, I fucking left. What do you expect? It's a waste of my goddamn time.
So wait, I got to ask Joel a question about this as well.
Okay.
As a guy, I lived in New York City, went on a lot of first dates. How do you feel about picking up the bill for dinner on first dates all the time?
I think I'm fairly okay with it. It's always nice if the girls offer, but a lot of them it's like you've seen the meme on TikTok where they offer and the wallet is completely empty. There's nothing in there. It's like the expectation is, but I would first date is, I think I'm fine with that. But as time progresses, I think it's 2024, we're all unequal, and I go out with a lot of girls that are making more money than me. Yeah, I'm like, why am I paying?
Yeah, no, I think so.
Because the costs add up, right?
Fair.
I mean, I feel like as a single guy in New York, the limit is about 3 dinner dates a week if you're
Yeah.
going to pay. Because when you get to 4 or 5, that's
But even then, aren't you
$1,000 a week in dinner.
even then, aren't you spending like $600-700? Like,
Yeah, it depends on
Yeah.
the dinner. Yeah.
I've been on first dates before where guys have spent $1,000
Wow.
on a first date. It's New York City. Do you know? But then it's like
Not that
that to me, I look at that and I'm like, okay, like it's a little bit distasteful in a sense, you know?
I've been there
Right?
on the wrong side of it.
The wrong.
poor darling. But I think
But now you're married, so
Yeah, I learned. You learn
yeah.
through dating. You
No,
learn
exactly.
what works and what doesn't.
trial and error, darling. But I think
No.
what you just said was really true. And we actually just talking on a recent podcast about this. Is like I think people think that they want this like incredibly grandiose date, which in of itself is really beautiful and lovely. And perhaps for like a 4th or 5th date when you've gotten to know each other and like there's a vibe there. But for a first date, it almost there's already pressure on a first date, and you add even more pressure to it. And it's in reality, it's not about the environment; it's about who's in front of you.
Exactly.
That's the most beautiful
You said it perfectly because for a long time I was the girl who liked to be wined and dined.
Really?
I really did. And I'm used to being taken out on really nice dates. And then I was like, Talia, snap out of it. It's literally not about this. And I guess with that shift, my dating life got better in a sense.
Love that.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
incredible to hear.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna keep going down the list. Actually, we got some questions now because I think these are
Okay.
really fun. And like, I honestly, if we were in the dating world, I would have liked to ask these questions to people because they're a little left to center, right?
Okay.
All right, so first one's not really that left to center, but it's interesting. What's your biggest turn off?
You want to go ahead? I know what mine is, but
I would say, I don't know how to phrase this.
Phrase it, Joel. Just
Say it.
lay it out
Yeah.
there. Be real.
Phrase it without being cancelled.
no, we don't do canceling here. I would have been canceled a long time ago.
I think a girl that's like just too full of herself, like just sits there and expects I'm the entertainment, like entertain me, you know? It's like
Dance,
like,
monkey.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
I
Yeah,
think-
conceited is never attractive. I don't think
No.
in anybody,
No.
regardless of what they do or who
Like
they
you're
are.
lucky enough to be on that date with her.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
the entitlement, yeah.
Yeah, that's distasteful.
I wanted to feel equal on both sides.
That's what makes a good partner,
yeah.
for sure.
What you Talia?
I'm going to be greedy with this answer. So, cheap is a really big one. I've never been out with a cheap guy, and I hope it never, ever happens.
Mhm.
But that's just for me, like, not... Because I feel like if you're cheap with money, you're cheap in other areas of your life, too. So, for me, that's just, you know... And then someone who's, like, lacks ambition. You know, I'm out
Yeah.
here, like, grinding and working my ass off. And if you're just, like... doing nothing and sleeping on the couch all day, that's not attractive, you know? Because I want someone who's passionate about what they do. And if you don't have that, then I'm not interested.
I completely agree. One of the like, I mean, there's many things that I find attractive about you, darling. But like one of the things I find so endearing and so attractive about him is that he works his ass off and he's so passionate about what he does every single minute of every single day. And it's infuriating sometimes, but it's just such a beautiful thing to witness and to be
Right.
around. And it's also incredibly motivating for yourself as
Of
well.
course. Of
Can you
course.
define cheap though? What do you mean by cheap?
Financially.
Like,
Like, okay,
give
so
me a
if
real
I
world
were to go on a
example.
first date and the guy would have been like, okay, yeah, we're splitting the bill, I would never see them again. Like,
Okay.
I'm actually not kidding. That's like, I don't believe in dating rules at all, but I like to be courted. And I still feel like a man should be a man at the end of the day. And men are biologically wired to chase. So
I just wanted to pull the real answer out of you. That was
there's no holding back with me. You should know this by now.
No, I love it. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of people would agree with you on that point in
Yeah.
particular. All right, what would you do if you won the lottery today?
How much are we talking?
10 million.
No.
100 million.
300 million.
Okay,
Okay,
I need
whoa.
to live. Yeah, exactly. 300 million.
300 million. Don't be cheap, Joe.
You can go ahead. I feel like I've yapped
Okay.
enough.
Okay, I would travel the world, and I've had this dream for a while of traveling around the world in an electric car, and I've actually written a proposal to a bunch of electric car manufacturers to sponsor the trip. And
Ambitious.
Lucid Motor actually replied to my email, and I got an interview with them, but it was one of the people. So anyone working in an electric car company, yes.
Elon, if
I
you hear
accept.
this, we have an
Yeah.
offer there. And if you want to get involved with First Rounds on Me, be more than happy to have you on the board.
You just have to, like, basically, Elon doesn't have a home. He sleeps on people's couches. So you have to offer him your couch. Maybe he'll work with
Yeah.
you then.
That's a fair exchange.
Yeah.
There you go.
Joel, you're so interesting. I'm really digging this date.
Joe wants to go on a date with you now.
Travel the world, driving in an electric car, hitchhiking back,
Sneak into borders.
speaking Yiddish.
Incredible.
It's okay, Hannah. We'll go out on our girls' date.
Yeah, it's totally fine, babe.
Hotel bars.
Oh, can't wait. It's
Yeah.
a date. How about you, Sally?
Oh my gosh, if I won. So I'm someone who's like, I want my money to work for me. So the $300 million, I would invest in real estate and then I would like never have to work again. I mean, maybe I'd get into like philanthropy or some sort of, something to keep me busy. So I don't become like brain dead. But I would want my money to work for me so I don't really have to do anything. I would
love
invest it.
Super ambitious. I love it.
Yeah, I love that too. What is a challenge that you've overcome that made you a stronger person?
My gosh, maybe just putting myself out there. So I've always been very like outgoing and very outspoken, but I think I took this to the next level when I started YouTube, and I wanted to do it for a long time. My initial goal was like to go and do a travel YouTube channel, but then I'm like, okay, logistically it's not possible because I still need to work, right? And then I was like, okay, it kind of shifted to dating, and people my whole life have been like, you've been on the most interesting dates, like, way you tell stories. And I was like, okay. But it took me so much strength to do it because there is that fear of judgment. Of course, like,
Yeah, of course.
you put yourself out there and you get hate. And I think my fear of judgment was more for the people that know me as opposed to like people on the internet,
Always is.
right? So I
Always.
think it's just overcoming that. And now I just don't really care,
I love that. More people
Yeah.
need a dose of that. It's not really caring.
No, I feel
In a
like
good way.
life becomes better when you don't care.
Agreed.
When you've like stepped over that, then you know, life is literally anything that you make of it.
It takes a lot of strength to get there too. I think everybody deals with that. One of my
You've
friends
done it though.
Yeah, when we first started the company and we had to
Mhm.
post on social media or just do anything,
Right.
it was like, oh, what are my friends and family going to say? They're going to make fun of me that I'm starting a dating app, you know? And
No, but look where you've come. You've come
once
so
you
far.
crack that code and then it actually works, they all come full circle. I'm like,
Of
we
course.
want to work with you. I'm like,
No, and I think also the key to success though is like you need a level of delusional. If that
oh,
makes
for
sense.
sure,
Do you know?
100%.
Ignorance of bliss.
No, but like, you need to be delusional about the fact that like you're gonna get there one day.
100%.
Blind faith, darling. Blind faith in
Exactly.
yourself and like what you're doing and how you're doing it. He has like yards and yards of blind faith.
It's not about me.
But-
It's about Joel and Talia.
No, but
We're
it's
on a
about you
double-
too.
Bro, we're on a double date.
Yeah,
Like, I'm trying
hello.
to relate to the situation that we just heard. All
But
right?
you know, I don't like self praise. I don't like
I know
when
you don't
praise
like
comes
praise,
my way.
but I always dole it out to him because
I
it
don't
makes me
like it.
happy. Did you have a
course.
question that
I
you
had
wanted
two
to ask?
questions, but they're probably in your show notes, which ruin it
Whisper
for
them
you.
to me.
Well, I'm just going to share them.
Okay.
I'm going to break the rules.
Okay.
Okay, we like
Um,
that. It's what we do.
So one question that I
Mhm.
have for you guys that is big in the dating app world now, where
Mhm.
people want to know the intention of why you're on a dating app.
Yeah.
Whether that's to hook up, to be in a relationship, to get married. So I advise this question at first because I think people should be intentional on what they're looking
I
for.
agree.
And I want to put you guys on the spot. What are you guys looking for?
Would you like to go ahead?
Individually.
This is hard.
Be honest, Joel.
Yeah, we like honesty.
Respect the person in front of you.
I think.
Thank you.
I think the most important thing, in life in general, is relationship with people. Should it be romantic or non-romantic relationships? And I think that's what everyone should work on. And in an ideal world, that's what I would be working on. And I think in theory, I do want a serious relationship, but in practice, I'm terrified of commitment.
Interesting.
Good
Okay.
answer.
That's
Honest.
an honest answer.
Very honest answer.
I like that. Do you know? It's better that you're honest than when you go on a date with a guy and he's like, "Yeah, I want a relationship," but then you realize that that's exactly, you know, he doesn't want that at all. So, but I was like that for a very long time. Like the fear of a relationship was real for me. And I realized that I would always go for men who had a fear of a relationship too. And then I realized, wait a second, it's because I have a fear of a relationship. And then when I fixed that in me, then I've kind of aligned myself with people who are also looking for a relationship. And when people ask me that question, a lot of the time I'm like skeptical of them. I'm like, if you're asking me that question, it's because you're looking for a hookup and you're not sure what I'm looking for. And then but I don't care. I'm looking for a relationship. I'll straight up I'll tell them, like, you know, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not here to please anybody.
Okay. No, I think those are great
Right?
answers. And how old are you, Joel?
I am 27.
Okay. So
You
as a
noticed.
27-year-old living in New York City, I understand where you're coming from. And I'll tell you, it's kind of always there until you meet the right person. Because even when you do meet the right person, as a man, you're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about commitment. Like I want freedom and I want to like talk to every girl.
I've been
But
before.
the right
Yeah.
person really puts you on the spot, makes you think about it, and then you have to make that critical decision in life.
Before it's too late.
No, not before it's too late.
Or before it's too late in the relationship, not in life.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Until someone moves on. Like I remember on our, I think it was like first or second date, I told Joe, I was like, I'm looking for a serious relationship. So if that's not what you want to do right now,
The door's there.
more than
yeah.
happy, but I'm very okay by myself, and I know there's going to be somebody out there who does want a serious relationship. So either you jump
Exactly.
on board or you ship the fuck out.
No, but good for you.
And yeah, and I think
Yeah.
it was just like setting those intentions and setting it of like, this is what I want. It's not like a checklist of things of like, oh, that he has to be this height, he has to be this. It's just
No.
more so like, this is my intention in my dating life right now, and this is the only thing I'm going to accept into my life. So either you are on board with that or you're not, and that's okay if you're not. But you kind of, you know, you have to be intentional with those things, regardless of what it is. If you just want to hook up, live your fucking life.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother you.
No.
But yeah, at least you spoke your truth. And I think that that's what's important in life and in dating. And the right people will align with that, and the wrong people will fall by the wayside.
Exactly.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I have one more question before you go. Just
All right, we don't have much time,
but
so
I just want to ask it.
okay, good.
So this question, I don't advise on a first date,
Okay.
but because we're here, I
Bring
do
it,
wanna
bring
ask-
it.
I do want to ask. So I always think like these serious questions usually happen on a third date,
Okay.
but I want to know if both of you guys want kids at some point in life.
That's not that heavy hitting of
I
Question, is
think it is because the first date,
Yeah.
I feel like as a guy, if Hannah, well, not Hannah's a bad example because she was the right woman. But if a girl, if a random person was like, "Do you want kids?"
Right.
I'd feel pressure, not because
Okay.
they were putting me on the spot, just because it would be like a really
A lot. too
pressured
fast.
process to
Right.
have
Okay.
right
Pressure
there.
filled
Fair.
question. It is.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
I think I do want children eventually. It's not. I'm not pressured by also I can't imagine myself right now with children. I feel like right now
Yeah.
I want to travel, have fun, but maybe in the next few years, that could be a possibility.
I mean, I agree with that answer too. I'm 30, and for me, kids is not a thing for right now because my career is of importance and travel is of importance. And I feel like when you have kids, you need to really be like settled and live the life that you want to, because once you have kids, everything changes. So there's a lot I need to get out of the way before I have kids. So
I can understand that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, back to you, babe. Sorry.
No, actually, it's on to you now, darling.
Oh, it's
We're gonna,
back to me.
We're going to do
Oh,
the
I'm
last little
hijacking
section.
the whole show.
It's all right.
Am I doing user feedback? Looking
No,
ahead.
we're doing looking ahead.
I'm all over the place, guys. This is what happens when
That's
you're
fine.
married. Looking ahead. What's one question you wish you had asked or answered today that we didn't go over yet,
If any.
if any?
Ooh. Do you have a question for me?
Yes.
Oh gosh. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Well, there's so many to pick from.
Oh my god.
Second date's definitely coming.
I feel like it's weird when you put on the spot like that.
Just any random question, shout it out.
Okay. If you could meet anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Maybe not a specific person, but maybe people who lived through different eras. So like I'm very fascinated by the Prohibition era because even though it was an awful time, people still went out and lived their lives to the best of their ability. And I feel like it would have been a fascinating time to live through. So I'm kind of interested to know what the experience would have been like.
I like that.
Love that.
You?
I would probably the person that came to mind before, Leonardo da Vinci.
The obsession is real.
I do like that guy.
Did you know that there's a Leonardo da Vinci store down on the corner over there?
Maybe we'll
I didn't
go
even
and-
know
and find-
that.
We
We'll go
walked
say
by
hello
it.
to him on
Really?
the way out.
Okay. Was there a moment today that made you think, I'd love to see this person again?
You're like, yeah, every single
Yeah.
moment. That's
Yeah.
the only right answer.
I would say definitely. I think your enthusiasm, and that's I think what I look for a person in general is someone that's enthusiastic and happy has a energy for life in general.
Right.
I think that's nice to see.
Would you say that that's been hard to find in New York City?
I think so. Everyone is stressed out from work or distracted, or
Yeah.
it's just like everyone is burnt out.
Right. But that's why First Round Summit is good because we literally got to meet in person as opposed to like talking back and forth for 10 years, you know, when my hair gets all gray and whatever, right?
Yeah.
It works better.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And what about you, Talia? Was there a moment, or you're set in stone? Like,
I mean, I think the fact that you're adventurous, a lot of the things that you've said have basically shown me that you're adventurous and very brave. And so those are like two qualities that I look for. I know what I'm looking for, and you've definitely encompassed a lot of that so far. So there will definitely be a second date.
Thank you.
okay, so if there is a second date, what does that look like? What do we think?
Where you going? What
I
you
th-
doing?
No mini golf, please.
Yeah. I would say drinks and dinner. I really like that. I think that's a nice and calm, relaxed situation. She likes that. I
We're
like
on the
that.
same page.
We're on the same page. And then afterwards you go for a walk in the park.
But this time I'm not asking you out though.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's your turn.
I'll definitely do that.
I love this. Okay. How did your expectations for this date compare to the reality of how it went?
Ooh, good question. So
I think I was fairly nervous walking in. I think especially because there's cameras and microphones. But I think first dates have nerves in general. But I think as you get into it and everyone loosens up and you see it's just a fun people around you, it's easy.
good
I
answer.
love it.
I
Love
don't
it.
know. I go into dating with no expectations because I feel like if you do have them, you become a lot more nervous. And then when things don't work out, then you're down on yourself. And so for me, it's like I go in and I look at it as this is just going to be a fun night for me. And if something good comes from it, great. If something, well, there's nothing bad that can come from it realistically, you're going to, you know, whatever. But for me, it's like I've networked with someone. And so I don't know, I go into dating with no expectations, and dating has been easier like that.
I think that's the most beautiful way to be able to do it.
That's
All
awesome.
right, darling. We're out of time. Unfortunately,
it.
this hour has gone by so stinking quickly, but we cannot thank you enough for being brave enough and for being spontaneous enough and adventurous enough to join us here for this very first kind of live first date.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah,
Of
it has been a
course.
fun time.
Is there anything that you want to tell our listeners or our viewers about where to find you?
So I have my YouTube page, Talia Dates NYC. So it's all of my own dating experiences, crazy stories, dating advice.
And I am at Yali Khan Official on Instagram, or my business account is Illusion Digital, also on Instagram.
For
If
your
you need
lighting needs and your sound
lighting,
engineering
video,
needs.
sound for any sort of event, I'm there for you.
So nice.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you. Hope you got to learn something on how to date on First Rounds on Me, or just how to date in general.
We're going to do more of these.
We have to do more of these. This was an amazing start. Talia's got amazing stuff specifically about First Rounds on Me. Super organic. Check that out. Listen to one of our past episodes. Subscribe, because subscribing helps us. We love you. Happy dating, and we will see you next time.
Happy dating.
Woohoo.